What up, though? It's Drake again, and thank you for joining me at the Black Interior, which is my journal. I'm just journaling, and I'm taking you all along for the ride. Um, my public journal. So, a couple things I thought about, that I was going to talk about today. I want to say rest in peace, Dolly Parton. Um, it's funny, I did not know, sometimes you don't know how people impact your life until they're gone. And Dolly Parton is one of those people. It wasn't like, Dolly Parton was not an artist that was listened to in black households. I mean, of course, everyone knew her 9 to 5, and, uh, she was a bigger than life personality. But up on the announcement of her passing yesterday, it became apparent that she had impacted the black community in a very special way. And we did not have a conference about it. We didn't have a conference about it. It was just that I started seeing memes and tributes and um, posts just honoring Dolly Parton in a way that let me know that she touched so many people. So I just want to say, rest in peace, Dolly Parton, a true humanitarian. Never saw you down in an interview. Always upbeat, and just always just a light to the world. So thank you for your the legacy that you leave of love and happiness, equality, fairness, and all the things that truly make the ideals that make America great. Um, but so tribute to her. I mean, God bless her soul and her family. One of the things I wanted to mention, though, I have been thinking, I've been seeing another thing I've been seeing is so many posts on Martha's Vineyard in August, and my late wife went to Martha's Vineyard every August. I think they started going in 08 or 09, and it was going to be 10 years. In 19, the husbands were going to go, but my wife passed in 18. But I didn't really mind her going because it was a girl's trip. It was her annual girlfriend's trip. It wasn't the trip that we went on together. It was a trip where she went um, on with her girlfriends, with the exception of a couple of guys who were girl friendly. And so I never did take that trip with her. But it's like I look at it now and it's like I almost don't even. At least I don't want to visit in August. I mean, the mythology of place in the pantheon of things to do in Black America uh, is an interesting thing. The idea, it's almost like, I mean, let me say it like this. I visited my wife and I, along with my entire family, my mother, father, my sister, my nephews and sister were living there at the time. Visited Egypt. We went to Cairo and Madi. Madi is right outside Egypt. It's a suburb of Egypt where my sister lived. But I remember that Monique and I, that's my late wife's name, we took a camel over to the pyramids of Giza and climbed the largest pyramid over there. And do you know all the mythology surrounding, we know the mythology surrounding the pyramids. Definitely in Morehouse, I heard, Asa Hilliard, Dr. Charles Finch, um, Mustafa, probably to a lesser extent. But it was said, when you go to Egypt and you touch the pyramids, you feel the spirit of the ancestors overcome you. So I finally, I got there, and I believe that. I got to the pyramids, and I laid my hand on it, and I did not, I'm sad to report, feel any spirit of the ancestors. And then I realized that there is a lot of mythology that goes into celebrating a place. And so I say that to say that, Martha's Vineyard is one of those places that, Black people hold up high. We rightly so. We should, I am proud of that history, just like the next person. But you're not going to convince me that that's the only place we can find joy and freedom, and that, there's something uniquely, and there is something uniquely special about it, but I don't want to overstate, and I don't like overstating the mythical nature of a place when it really isn't that. It's like, how do I articulate this? I just feel like I think it's a little overstated, especially now. I looked at and this is great for the homeowners there and everybody, but I looked at the average home of Martha's Vineyard homes, cost of the homes, like 30 years ago, was like $170,000. And I look now, and it's like $1.5, $2 million. And I say all that to say, for those who are on the receiving end, those Black families who bought homes, and anyone who bought a home there 30 years ago and has been in the family, kudos to you. Kudos. But, social media has made things hyper important to the point sometimes the things lose their luster and they lose their charm. And in some ways, the allure of Martha's Vineyard isn't the same thing. It certainly has allure. It's a magnetic place, obviously. But for me, the allure was, and is, the mythology of Martha's Vineyard. But the reality is, I know when I go there, when and if I do, which I still want to go. I know that it's a tradition for lots of people. That, and I'm not being pessimistic, I'm just being honest. That's going to be like touching the pyramids. I'm going to say, this is nice, and yes, I graduated from Morehouse. My wife graduated from Howard. I've been in the throes in the annals of Black excellence, the corridor of Black excellence, all my life. My family, my mother and father, instilled in me and my sister excellence. Although I must say, I didn't always live up to my academic success, my academic, capabilities in the way that I probably should have, but my household promoted excellence. And so it's not an unfamiliar concept, this whole, and we didn't, matter of fact, we didn't go around saying Black excellence. It was just impressed upon us that we had to be excellent. But I say all that to say that, yeah, I see the beauty in Martha's Vineyard, but I also see a place that has become, self-conscious and self-aware in such a way that about itself that it just doesn't hold the same kind of appeal for someone like me. Um, and I can't necessarily put my finger on why that is, but it's just something that occurred to me, and I don't know what people think about that, but about the whole thing. I know people who will comment will say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you've never been," and this, that, and the other. You'll be right, and you also be right to say that I don't get the full picture. Um, but it seems like a spoil of riches to some extent. Like with all the things that are going on there, it's almost like you could never really do them all. And you go there for quiet, but then there's a party every night, and there's a book signing every night. There's movies, there's concerts. I would need a vacation from that. And as much as it costs, I to go there, it's not cheap. I think I want to go. I love to travel. I want to go. I haven't been to Australia yet. Um, I've been to Europe, but I want to explore more places throughout Europe. I want to explore more countries in Africa. I have not been to, uh, Cuba yet. So there are places that I want to go, and for those who have the means to go to all those places on a regular basis, yes, I mean do it. But if you are like me, and I think I do okay, but I mean, I still got to plan my vacations out. I can't just change the forecast just like that on a regular basis. So if you're somebody like me, and you know that you can travel X amount of times a year, and going to Martha's Vineyard is not going to encroach on your travel budget, by all means, do it. Um, but if you are somebody like me who has to plan it out, there are a lot of other places to go to find joy and happiness that don't require you to spend as much. That don't require as big of a spend. But I'll leave it at that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I do look forward to visiting Martha's Vineyard at some point. And I guess I probably will be there with my friends who are there. But sometimes I think it's just that the mythology is a little overdone, and we can do that with a lot of things in the Black community. But I'm not taking away from it. I don't want to detract from it, but I'm just saying we can do that. I'm ambivalent about mythology because Black mythology is definitely necessary, really, in the context of America. But I like to I I like to do it in the spirit of the field nigga. I don't always want to be, um, you know, we always think of excellence as those who are high achieving, but we don't look at the janitor and say, hey, let's give that janitor who's high achieving, who's about excellence, an award. Let's give the trash man or the bus driver an award for being excellent. So I think let's not use the word excellence all the time as it relates to Black wealth and Black, uh, what some would call Black elitism, and Black middle and upper middle class socioeconomic groups, or the tendencies of those groups. So let's not confuse that with Black excellence. Black excellence comes in many shapes and sizes, but what we're talking about is not just Black excellence. It is Black um, consumerism I'm ambivalent about this because I'm a Morehouse grad. I am a lot of the things that the people who show up at Martha's Vineyard are. So this is not a critique that is absent of my own person. It is simply a reflection. So with that being said, again, I know as I do, I'm meandering. This is my uh, digital doodling, my video journal. My name is Drake, and this is the Black Interior. If you like to just vibe out with me and think about things and want to comment on them, please join in, and please like and subscribe. Peace.